Hey everyone, Adam here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be going over a case study of a $1.5 million month with just Meta ads, just this last month here for one of the brands we work with. So without further ado, let's dive straight into it. So basically, what we're going to do is kind of cover over the numbers over last year compared to this year to start, and then we'll dive into kind of a whole bunch of different things about what we what we did to improve and what we did to ultimately make this happen. So you can see here last year for the same brand that we work with, November 2022, we spent all in $262,000 with Meta and brought back just a sliver over 1 million with a return ad spend averaging around a 3.91. Now this year, we upped the budget by about 80,000, give or take, to 344K just on Meta. We were also running TikTok, Pinterest, Snapchat for this one particular brand. But yeah, honestly, incredible month, because with that ad spend, we ended up bringing back $1.5 million in just a single month, and actually raised the return ad spend. I'll get to that in a moment, why we were able to do that and lower the cost per acquisition as well. So you can see here, basically, we actually had two ad accounts, one for Canada, one for the US. US one was significantly less profitable. There was also some US campaigns in this top ad account. But yeah, you can see basic cost per acquisition, 17.81 in Canada. Mostly Canadian campaigns in that one, but there was also some US. But then the strictly US one actually underperformed. It was a bit of a newer account as well. But yeah, that was basically the overall numbers, which equated out to these numbers here overall. Now, let's get into some of the main points here. Number one, I would say, is content. You know, there's a famous saying in real estate is all about location. And honestly, the same thing is really true with e-commerce in terms of the content. Going into 2024 is a huge focus for us. It just where everything's really trending to is just having very, very high quality ads, great landing pages, just great product, all the kind of stuff that's almost outside of the ad account per se. And of course, don't get me wrong, what's done in the ad account is very, very important. You know, just making sure the media buying is done crystal clear, making sure you're launching everything, formatting, structuring everything properly, scaling appropriately, managing KPIs, reporting, all that kind of stuff is very, very important. But this is just I'm seeing really be able to move the needle and really scale. So I think you need both in order to really scale going into 2024. So yeah, number one was really editing statics and videos. Secondly, I'd say also what really helped us is having hashtag paid. So we had 10 creator whitelisted accounts on here, which basically means you are able to, instead of running the ads through the brand handle, social media handle, you actually run it through a creator handle. And then also you get access to all their content, and then you make variations off their content too. Make sure when you make brief and go over that, make sure you do that. That's very, very important because you want to basically just squeeze as much juice out of that content as possible. Literally, we've seen like changing the hook will literally just double profitability. It's actually pretty crazy. And lastly, I got to give a quick shout out to UGC Factory. They have been absolutely phenomenal. And basically what they're offering is it's a 24 video ads per month. Yeah, they're just honestly great. I wouldn't say it's cheap by any means, but I think, founder was saying basically if you're spending about $30,000 a month, this is where it's a huge needle mover, working with, creative agency like this. Don't get me wrong, I'm not getting paid at all to say this. I just think been a phenomenal experience. They've done a great job. And what's kind of crazy actually is they have this offer, then they have a few brands where they do 48 ads a month, and there's a couple they actually do 96 video ads a month. I'm like, holy smokes. So yeah, I mean, we might have to just start diving in and really just doubling it up. So I'll get to that in a second. In terms of the videos, really, I can maybe compile this for you guys here, but basically the whole goal really is you want to have your main angles, your messaging super crystal clear, and then really it just becomes about just testing different concepts. And there's just so many different concepts, like vertical split screen, 3 reasons why. You can do like a vertical video, a vertical photo, so longer form. TikTok maybe you could do like, targeting boyfriends for a female product, make it hacky. There's all these different ones, transitions, skit, filming outside of the house, having bizarre footage, vertical split screen. There's just never ending amount of different concepts. So that's really what you want to look at. Once you have your messaging and your angles all really crystal clear and it's just perfect, then you just really want to test out a bunch of different, concepts and really making that happen. So yeah, honestly, I think that one of the main reasons why we were able to, achieve a huge improvement for this account is just creating better ads, just getting better and better and better at that. And of course, we also learn things over time. Now, I did make a video recently going over our testing strategy. We've actually completely revamped that. I think I made that a few months ago, that video. I'll make another one, updated one, just going over all the details and also how we're tracking all our creative tests and really just learning from it and getting better and better. So that way it really just compounds over time. So yeah, just having a systematic process for that, I think is really, really important. So in terms of our promo structure, what we did is we had lifetime budget CBOs, majority cold traffic. You can see here, basically you spent $105,000 lifetime, 36, 12, and then 80,000, 24,000, 9,000. Now we have all the evergreen campaigns. And then we have the promo campaigns. So the promo campaigns, the reason why we do lifetime budget CBOs is because if they're only running for a dedicated amount of time, we find it works better to give it a set budget and let it on a day-to-day basis spend based off results or based off your objective of, getting conversions, etc. So we find that works a lot better than, going with a daily budget and just trying to crank that really high. Because the thing about daily budget, if, we divide that by, if we divide this by, 30, we're basically looking at about 10 grand a day for the whole thing. In my opinion, with these, instead of having to spend $10,000 a day, this gives it some breathing room, flexibility to, on a daily basis. We just do it for promo campaigns, and at the end of the day, it's what works for us. I'm just sharing what works for what we're doing. So feel free to do whatever strategy you feel works best. I'm not saying this is the way you need to do it. This is just honestly what's worked for us. So that just want to kind of quickly point that out. And then, basically what we had is 10 cold interest stacked audiences with different categories. That also just performed very, very well. I'll go into detail in the end what we plan on doing next year, which I think we'll do even better. Then we did our middle funnel and bottom of the funnel, which I think what we're going to do is we're going to actually move a bit more away from this model, and I'll get to in a second what we're going to do instead next year. And then basically for the ad account structure for the evergreen campaigns, we basically had a broad CBO, so one per country. And then we had an interest targeting campaign, ABO. We have several per country based on ads and just different interests we have going. And then advantage shopping campaign. And we have basically one per country on that. And then just kind of cover the offer and duration and everything. Really what we see with offers is really simplicity is key. We basically just went with up to 40% off site wide. So we kept it very similar to last year. And then in terms of duration, what we find continuously every year is that the results are actually much stronger a week before Black Friday than the actual Black Friday weekend. Just because I think CPMs, basically cost per thousand impression, it literally shot up a huge amount that weekend. I think it was like shot up to about $40, give or take, $40-$50, whereas it was hover around 25-ish, give or take. So it went up by about like 50% that weekend, just because literally every brand under the sun, everyone's advertising that weekend. It gets absolutely crazy. So it's actually quite smart to launch much before. I've seen brands like Gymshark and all these other brands out there. They're beginning of the month, they're actually just already launching their Black Friday. So yeah, it just seems to be getting earlier and earlier and earlier every year, which it's kind of funny. To be honest, in my opinion, I think there's definitely a spot where it's like, all right, like I don't think first week is the most effective for a lot of the brands. I do like the sweet spot of a week or two in advance. For us, what we did is we did November 15th and basically ran it till the November 30th. So what we find with, BFCM it's basically like a, whole season. It's better to create the campaigns and let them run all the way through with like a BFCM offer rather than, basically launching some pre-Black Friday sale, pausing those campaigns and launching a Black Friday sale, pausing those campaigns, and then launching a Cyber Monday campaign and pausing those. It just gets, so crazy. And also the learnings don't compound, right? It doesn't like just learn, get better and better and better. You're just kind of killing the momentum and then restarting it. Yeah, oftentimes just isn't the best move in my opinion. We've tested that out. We tested out both, and it's much better to keep it very simple and kind of go do that. Also, just making sure that everything's in unison. Email, organic, influencers, all that advertising is all launching at the same time. It's very clear on the website, the banner or, in the product pages, whether that's all in the description or even just, some of the photos having the offer on there. Just having it very, very clear. By the way, this goes for any promo campaign. We're just obviously talking about Black Friday here, but this is just throughout the year. Next one, big one is going to be Valentine's Day. So that's a big one, then Easter, and then, Canada Day, July 4th, that whole weekend here in North America, et cetera, et cetera. So this goes for literally any promo campaign, to be honest. So very, very, very crucial for that. Now, to close it off, what we'll do next year. So like I was saying, in terms of the importance of content, we are going to be doubling the content output. It's just so important. It just really dictates, how much you're able to scale, is how much content you're able to put out. We'll also work on increasing budget by about 30 to 50%, based on capacity and based on how much the brands can handle, and this brand in particular. And then also in terms of the ad account restructure for the promo specifically, obviously for the evergreen, which I'll cover in more detail. We'll keep that going. But then what we'll do is we'll do a lifetime budget CBO interest campaign. So we'll keep that all very, very similar. They work incredibly well. It's extremely profitable. It just works really well. But then what we'll do is we'll launch a broad CBO campaign. Instead of the MOF and BOF, middle funnel, bottom funnel, we'll end up just launching a broad CBO campaign with lifetime budget and also have dynamic creative in the ad sets. So I'm going to cover this in a bit more detail when we do a setup for this. I just think this strategy is going to be a bit stronger. Don't get me wrong, like some people I'm just seeing out there, they're so stubborn on how they go about it, and there's only one way to be successful. There's not one way to be successful. There's a multitude of different ways. So that it's just kind of the fact of the matter. So you can see basically, with this, it still works incredibly well, but I think in order to get to that next level, I think we just got to have a bit of a slight restructure on how we're doing it. Double content. And that's actually really just it, to be honest. Like, I'd say, honestly, that's really just going to move the needle a ton. So that's what we're going to be looking at doing across the board. So I'd highly, highly recommend just, focusing on the content and just creating really, really, really good ads. Focus on that, and then just focus on having a, good structure and everything. So like I was saying, I'll cover this in more detail in another video. But yeah. That's it for this video here. Any questions, go ahead and drop them down below. I hope you enjoyed it. And with that being said, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers for watching.